There's two types that I see. One type is about 3 feet tall, very dark, very ugly, not humanoid at all. The others are very, very tall, very lizard-looking, not pleasant.
The creatures that I have seen mostly have been the grays.
And when I say tall, I'm not talking 6 feet, I'm talking very tall, like 10 feet tall.
Usually about 3 to 4 foot tall. Real big, almond-shaped, black eyes.
The face was oval. The being itself couldn't have been more than 3 feet tall. It was sitting cross-legged at the top left-hand corner of my bed.
Betty had a vacation from her job as a social worker for the state of New Hampshire. Barney worked for the post office. Neither believed in UFO reality at that time. They had never read a book on the topic. They took a brief vacation to Niagara Falls, onto Toronto, onto Montreal, and they were driving home through the White Mountains of New Hampshire on September 19, 1961, when they had a close encounter with a UFO.
Abducted by aliens, some call it absolutely bogus, but for a man in Mississippi, it certainly was very real.
That's right. As Scripps reporter Chloe Nordquist explains, he's trying to lead a normal life while searching for answers decades later.
Obviously, they are talking about the abductions made by the aliens, right? So what did these aliens do by abducting humans and animals? Do they live among us and we can see them? And which type of technology they use? You might have heard about the skip zone. According to Wikipedia, a skip zone, also called a zone of silence or silent zone, is a region where radio transmission cannot be received. As we know, the surface internet never provides us the detailed information about the skip zone and what really going on there. But one of my favorite channel in YouTube known as Generation Zed have explained about the skip zone. So let's just look at it.
So, what we're doing here is we're bending space and time. What if you can bend space and time to set up holographic concentration camps right in front of us, but because they are put on certain patches of land and anomalistic patches, they, as a matter of fact, are just parallel enough in an alternate dimension or an ascended dimension, people can walk right through this zone of silence and not feel anything physical as if they're touching anything. That's what's happening here, excuse me. Now, the interesting thing here is this. When you go to these pieces of land, you're going to find very strange and anomalistic things occurring, such as, paranormal events. You might see a spirit, or you might see someone coming running at you, and then all of a sudden they run right through you, and you turn around and the person or whatever object or thing that was is gone, right? This is because when you have a certain holographically induced geneticist working on a town that is basically, again, I use the word town because it is a small city for alien concentration camps, but is harnessing this magneticism, which is also the same magneticism that is harnessed within the deep underground military bases of the example I gave at the beginning to make these trains go through, right?
And yes, they can manipulate or materialize any kind of object into our dimension without being visible or interacting with our physical dimension. As you know, our visual spectrum only make up a small portion of the whole, and it is easy for them to take the advantages of our visual limitation because they can modify the electromagnetic spectrum to hide the skip zone or the spaceship. You might be thinking that why I am talking about the skip zone, because it is related to our first question, that what did these aliens or extraterrestrial group do by abducting the humans and animals? The answer is mutilation and genetic experiments in the skip zone or by using the pathway of the skip zone. If you don't know what is mutilation done by aliens, then according to history.com, surgical dead bodies are found under open sky with their eye plucked out, tongues removed, and private part excised, all extracted with utmost precision and leaving not a drop of blood. Reports of such unexplained mutilation carried out both on humans and animals. Link to this article and the full video of Generation Z explaining about the skip zone given in the description. Now let's come to the main topic, that which type of technology the extraterrestrial group use for mutilation and genetic experiments. The SBM-CD implant, spherical biological monitoring and controlling device, is a techno-organic enhanced synaptic processor powered by a microprogesterone flow that controls or mimics the function of human nervous system, with microrelays duplicating the operation of brain-engrained patterns. Normally, the grade during an abduction make an insertion of 3mm SBM-CD device through the nasal cavity into more dose proximity to the brain of the abductee, and after implementing subliminal post-hypnotic suggestion that could compel the abductee to perform some specific act within the next 2 to 5 years. The SBM-CD device can only be removed when the abductee dies, but trying to remove while the abductee is alive, which will lead to the death of the abductee. Now come to the biological scanner. The biological scanner is used for the field determination of general medical condition of life form by sensing body emanation in the emission groups of alpha, beta, gamma, Kirlian, theta and X-rays. This biological scanner consists of two parts. Part number 1 is the scanner head, which is used to activate the device by rotating the scanner head, which is enclosed in microchip mesh sensor network. This will activate the unit. Part number 2 is the main body that interprets signals and received and convert them into the audio readout, which is programmable by the twisting the scanner head to the desired position. The scanner functions as a mini diagnostic center by sensing the physical emanation or frequency of an individual or an organic being, which is in the close proximity. The audio signals indicate either through its period or tone one of the 10 vital readings like body temperature, blood pressure, pulse rate, respiration rate, basal metabolic rate, cell rate, lungs capacity, heart activity, brain activity, and homeostatic deviation. The scanner is intended for use with a single species, although it has a limited diagnostic use on physiological similar life forms. For visual readout, the scanner can transmit signal to a biocomputer. The lights on the computer serve the same as the function as the oscillatory tones, and it can be enhanced for a more detailed appraisal of the being if desired. So here I want to mention that a regular doctor or a physician must undergo extensive training before being able to read the precise information out of the sounds emitted by the scanner, and there is no simple method allowing the layman to do the same. Next come to the spray applicator. The spray applicator is a small cylindrical dispenser of epidermal drugs employed by depressing the major axis of the unit between thumb and forefinger. Although it is capable of depressing a variety of liquid, foam and gel, it is normally pressurized for a field use with an organically based place color compound that acts as a coagulant to stop the flow of blood, as well as an antibiotic to protect against infections. A mild local anesthetic deadens the pain in affected area, but the applicator contains about 5 to 10 doses depending on the amount needed in the field operation. Next is the field reader tube. The reader tube is used when the low power scan is not effective to diagnose a patient condition, like a species that may possess a thick epidermis. The field reader tube transmits live reading from a sensor head to 4 independently activated lights, which indicated through their intensity or period, like the green for heart rate, red for pulse rate, blue for body temperature, yellow for blood pressure. Next come to the surgical scalps. C-scalps are contained within the surgical kit, with cutting width varying from 1 to 5 angstrom units. Activated by gripping the cylindrical base, they employ converging laser beam for a precise subcutaneous incision. Next is the skin grafting lasers. There are two types of skin grafting lasers, type 1 and type 2. Type 1 is low power laser is used to quickly and painlessly heal the external wounds by closing soft blood vessels and nerve endings, while stimulating the victim's anabolism or constructive metabolism, that is, regeneration of tissue. Type 2 laser can be used to graft skin onto the area where tissue has been damaged or completely destroyed. And the last one is blood attracting device. This device is an emitter of a force field, like some kind of tractor beam emitter, that can focus a wave particle beam. The device is said to locate hemoglobin cells and attract them through the skin, using the principle of gravitational electromagnetic focus contention. This device also can be used for repelling or mutual repelling and attracting, made to grab and hold, repel or attract even large objects. The device can operate at full 180 to 360 degree, allowing it to function at almost any angle. Because the beam has its own limit, the wave particles are short-lived and will disintegrate into byproduct at larger range, that is in excess of 100 meters. So that's all for today. Let me know what do you think about it, and see you soon in the next episode.